My name is Ryan and I'm in recovery. Good morning. It's windy today. I'm just out walking the absolute legend that is Ernie. I think he's got a bad belly. He's had 3 poos today. If you haven't seen my previous videos, I'm in recovery from cocaine addiction. I'm 38 years old. I'll cut a very long story short. Basically, I've had a bit of a problem with addiction. It all came out with a particular incident earlier this year, which I'll talk about in another video, and I ended up going to rehab, and I've been documenting my recovery journey since leaving rehab. What I wanted to talk about today is, I guess, kind of just like recovery itself, and like the kind of just some of the. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know that I'm a bit of an overthinker. I kind of analyse everything. I tend to talk about them on these videos. So I do find doing these videos quite therapeutic, and I really like kind of engaging with people through the channel and stuff like that are in similar situations or can offer their own perspectives. But I also think it's really important that your recovery journey is very much your own. I find myself getting caught up in kind of comparing my recovery to other people's recovery, and you know, and this isn't me knocking it, but one thing I will say about anyone in recovery, they always have a lot to say about recovery. You know, they always have very strong opinions on what is required to stay clean and sober. And you know, I'm a critical thinker, and I like to think about these things in depth, and I can find myself agreeing, disagreeing with a lot of people's perspectives. And yeah, I sometimes think it can be at the detriment to my own recovery when these things happen. Like, just to give you an example, I'm in a WhatsApp group with the people I went to, the people that are also in the recovery centre, the rehab centre I went to in South Africa. You know, we all did the same program, but I was in there for 6 weeks. You're in hostels, in rooms together, so you form friendships, and we've kind of kept in touch, and it's something I'm really grateful for. They're really great guys. But a lot of them have been posting recently the landmarks of like 6 months in recovery and stuff like that. But because I relapsed, I don't have that landmark. I had to start again, and I found that frustrating. I found it really hard to just accept that I'd thrown away. Like I think by the time I'd relapsed, I was nearly 4 months in recovery, and you know, the feeling of kind of like throwing that away really hurt. I've actually now stopped counting the days. You probably noticed I don't mention the days clean anymore, just because I was chatting to various people and thinking about it myself, and it was like, you know, the counting the days really puts kind of this big kind of label on it and kind of keeps it at the forefront of your mind, and I just don't know if that really suits me and how my brain works. It makes it too big, and I think since I've stopped counting the days, I do feel a lot better about it. I mean, I have a rough idea of the days, but I'm not like not waking up day to day being like, today's day 41, 42, whatever. And again, I think a big part of it is coming down to like comparing it to other people's recovery, like being like, oh fuck, that guy I know, he's 6 months down the line, I'm only 2 months down the line. And the other thing I can get a bit caught up in my own head with is like, I am not a massive fan of AA and NA. Like, I go to meetings. I actually haven't been to a meeting for like a week, but I do. Like, you know, when I first relapsed, I was going back to like 3-4 meetings a week. But I just don't get loads out of meetings. I've been to plenty now. Right when I first decided I needed to get help and I went to meetings, I found the support network it offered, and the fact that there was like-minded people who had similar stories to tell really helpful, and it made me feel less alone in the situation I was in. But if I'm honest now, at the stage I'm at now, I don't really get a lot out of them. Like the last few meetings I've gone to, I haven't shared. I kind of sit there, and I sometimes, if I'm honest, find myself clock watching a little bit. There's people I'm friendly with who I've met via meetings, and I really enjoy the community aspect that's connected to it. But I don't know what it is about it. I find it, I've said in previous videos, the kind of religious aspect, the higher power. It is a bit culty. There's all these little catchphrases that everyone always says to each other. Yeah, I just struggle to get on board with it. And I think because some people who have recovered via just going to NA meetings, they're like, you know, it's you know, in a lot of instances it's been the thing that's kind of saved their lives. So I totally understand the passion and how they feel about it. But it hasn't had that impact on me. What's actually helped me more was rehab, was therapy, speaking, doing these videos, asking for help from loved ones. That's what's had a bigger positive. Oh, look, Ernie's got the zoomies. Where is it? No, he's stopped. Oh no, he's still going. Ernie! Getting the zoomies on the beach. Sorry about the wind, by the way. Yeah, I live on the coast. The wind's kind of unavoidable when I try and do these videos outside. But yeah, I do like the meetings, but it's not like the main thing for me. And I sometimes find myself thinking like, what am I missing with these meetings? Why is it not changing my life in the way it's changed other people's life? Why do I not get something out of the 12 steps? Why do I overthink these things, and I end up flipping it into thinking I'm doing something wrong for that, and then that can affect my feelings towards my own recovery, like my recovery is somehow not as valid as someone else's. And what I've just been thinking about this weekend, and what I thought I'd talk about in this video, is that it's really important to try not to beat yourself up over these sorts of things. You know, if you're in recovery, you're going to have plenty of opinions from other people in recovery telling you what to do, what's right, what's wrong. You should do the 12 steps, you should go to 90 meetings in 90 days, these sorts of things. And a lot of the time they just present it as like a thing you have to do. It's not even just an opinion. But it's important to work out what works for you. Like, yes, listen to people that are in recovery, that are winners, that have got clean and have stayed clean. Definitely listen to them, and definitely listen to the advice they give. But don't think that if you don't do it their way, then you're somehow failing. Your recovery is your own journey, and you have to work it out for yourself. It's really important not to compare yourself constantly to other people. What Amy actually said this to me this morning. I thought it was a really nice thing. She said, the only thing you should compare yourself to is yourself. Compare yourself in recovery to yourself in addiction. Are you improving? Are you making progress? Are you winning the battle? And if the answer is yes, then that's a good thing, and keep that in perspective. Don't get too bogged down by all the different layers of what you should be doing, or the amount of meetings you should be going to. Yes, you should be doing the things you need to do in recovery, but they need to be the things that you've worked out that work for you. Don't do them for other people. Don't get clean because someone else in a way that someone else has told you to, that doesn't feel authentic to you, because it won't last. You have to do the things that feel true to you. And I feel like if you do that, you're more likely to stay clean and sober.